Welcome back. Right now we are talking about the science fiction horror series From. We have Harold Perrineau, who is starring in that series, here with us today to talk about the season, the finale coming up, and much more. Harold, how are you today? Thanks for being here.
I'm well. Thank you for having me. This is great.
So very excited about this series. I know it's a huge fan favorite, but if someone hasn't tuned in yet, tell me a little bit more about the concept of it and how it focuses on this very nightmarish small town.
So, From is set in a little town where everybody who's in the town is trapped. There are no roads that lead out of the town. Every road leads back into the town. And at night, they are literally being hunted by, we are calling them monsters. I don't know what else to call them. They appear as normal people, but they will eat you for sure. So at night they're being hunted, and I play the sheriff of the town who's tasked with trying to keep as many people safe as possible.
And tell me more about this character you play, the sheriff. What are some of the great things about him, and what are some characteristics of the sheriff that maybe aren't so positive?
Well, Sheriff Boyd is, for me, he's a man of service. You know, he is working for the town, he's working for the family. What he wants to do is, his job is to keep people safe, and that's what he's going to do. And I love that about him. One of the things that's tricky about him, though, is that he will do it at all costs. So do not cross him, because he will not hesitate to do whatever it takes to mitigate a threat. If he feels like you're a threat, he'll get rid of it. He will do anything to protect the town. So he's a little gruff, and he's a man dealing with a bit of heartbreak, and so that's always somebody that's scary. You never know what they're going to do, and so he's dealing with not a bit, a lot of heartbreak and things you find out within the show. And so I think, like, yeah, I love about him that he's of service. I'm a little scared of him. I don't know if I'd want him in my corner, but he's a little bit of a hair trigger. So
Sheriff Boyd is a very complex character. Any challenges that you have in portraying him on screen, or anything that you just really admire about him? I know you mentioned you're a little scared of him, but as you play this character, what really is the best about it and maybe the hardest?
Well, for me, again, the best about it is, again, I think he's a man of service. He really cares about the community. And this is something, as an American citizen, I feel is really, really important. I never got to be, a politician or in the military or any of those things, but I really admire people who do that because they care about the community. So I really think that that's really great about him. He's also a fierce protector of his family, either his direct family or extended family. And again, I really like that about him. What's difficult about playing him is that there's a certain amount of heartbreak that you literally have to live with every day in order for the audience to feel it. And so that made it a little tricky. It made it a little tricky playing it. It made it a little tricky being at home with my family when they were there. It made it tricky to be out with friends because he's quite heartbroken, and that's hard to play because you really just have to keep it available. I have to keep it available all the time. There are actors who are much more skilled than I am who maybe don't, but I found that quite difficult.
Well, you do an incredible job in this role. Do you draw from experiences portraying other characters, such as in Lost, Romeo and Juliet? You've done many different things, but is the sheriff like any other character that you've played before?
Like this character again has a son and a family, and just like Michael had in Lost, and Michael is one of those characters that I will endlessly be confused about the audience response to, because he was a guy who defended his kid, who didn't do anything wrong. He didn't kill his parents or Nobody died on his operating table. He wasn't a con man. He was just a guy trying to take care of his kids. And people really dislike this guy. So I will always be confused about it. But Sheriff Boyd and Michael share those things. They are they're family men. They care about their family, and they protect them at all costs. So that's one draw that I can draw from, sort of past characters. And like sometimes when I think about like maybe a Mercutio who has like sort of a hair trigger anger response, Boyd has a bit of that too. Like you think you're on his good side, but you could say one wrong thing and the whole world will shift, and your life could be in danger. And those things, yeah, it's mercurial, which makes sense for Mercutio. That part of Boyd is quite mercurial, and so I feel like he does share some elements of that as well.
Well, Harold Perrineau, it's been such a pleasure speaking with you. Thanks for joining us today. I've enjoyed this in-depth conversation about Sheriff Boyd and the series From. You don't want to miss out on this. It's definitely getting quite a lot of buzz. Incredible series. You can watch it on Epix on Sundays at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And once again, thanks to Harold for joining us. We'll be back right here on Mountain Connections right after this.